Charlie Wren never imagined his mundane 9-to-5 job would lead him into the heart of a genetic nightmare. On a chilly October evening, after a particularly tedious day at the office, Charlie trudged through the bustling streets of downtown Los Angeles, his mind preoccupied with unfinished reports and an ever-growing pile of paperwork. Little did he know, his life was about to take a bizarre and terrifying turn. As Charlie walked past a nondescript alleyway, a van screeched to a halt beside him. Before he could react, strong arms grabbed him from behind, muffling his protests. Panic surged through him as he struggled against his captors, but their grip was unyielding. A hood was swiftly pulled over his head, and the world plunged into darkness. When Charlie awoke, he found himself in a stark, high-tech chamber, the air thick with antiseptic. Metal restraints clamped onto his wrists and ankles, rendering him immobile. Confusion clouded his mind as he tried to recall how he'd ended up here. His last memory was of walking home after work, the evening crowd parting before the van that now held him captive. A cold, metallic hiss echoed through the room as a syringe extended towards his arm. Fear gripped him as the needle pierced his skin, injecting an unknown substance. His vision blurred, and a sharp sting radiated from the injection site. Desperately, he tried to move, but the restraints held firm. "Welcome to the Web Hunter Arena," a disembodied voice intoned, smooth and devoid of emotion. "You've been selected. Time to become the hunter, or be hunted." Charlie's heart raced. "What the hell is this? Let me go," he demanded, his voice cracking with fear and anger. A sardonic laugh resonated in the chamber. "No, Charlie. This is your new reality. Adapt or perish." As the voice faded, Charlie felt an odd sensation coursing through his body. His fingers tingled, and he glanced down to see them elongating, the bones and skin morphing into something otherworldly. His spine tingled intensely, and to his horror, 8 spider legs began to sprout from his back, their movements unnervingly precise. "Great," Charlie muttered, trying to maintain his composure despite the chaos unfolding within him. "Just what I always wanted, a spontaneous spider mutation." Panic transformed into a mix of awe and dread as he struggled to comprehend the changes. His vision sharpened, colors becoming more vibrant, details crisper. He could feel every vibration around him, a heightened sensory input that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Suddenly, the restraints released, and the chamber doors slid open with a hiss. Bright lights flooded the room, revealing a sprawling complex filled with high-tech equipment and other apprehended individuals. Charlie staggered to his feet, unsteady with his new form, and took in his surroundings. "Follow the light," the voice commanded. "The game will begin in 1 hour. Use this time wisely to explore your abilities." With that, the doors swung shut, and Charlie was left alone to grapple with his transformation. He flexed his new limbs experimentally, finding a surprising degree of control despite their alien nature. Webbing materialized between his fingertips, sticky and strong, but he had no idea how to harness it yet. Minutes felt like hours as Charlie wandered through the facility, encountering other contestants. Each person exhibited unique genetic modifications, blending human and animal traits in unsettling ways. There was a man with the muscular build and feral eyes of a wolf, a woman with sleek, feathered wings sprouting from her back, and another individual whose lower body had seamlessly transformed into that of a serpent. As he observed them, Charlie couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and curiosity. These weren't criminals or unwanted citizens as he'd assumed. They were ordinary people like him, thrust into this nightmarish arena against their will. Eventually, a loudspeaker crackled to life, announcing the start of the game. "Attention all participants. The hunt will commence in 30 minutes. May the strongest survive." Charlie's stomach churned. He had to survive this ordeal, but how? His natural instincts screamed at him to hide, to stay unnoticed, but he knew that wouldn't be enough in a game designed for elimination. Determined to make sense of his abilities, Charlie retreated to a secluded corner of the facility. He concentrated, willing the webbing to form more elaborate structures. Slowly, a simple strand connected 2 nearby support beams. Encouraged, he continued, crafting a rudimentary web that could potentially trap or distract an opponent. As he practiced, he began to understand the extent of his powers. His spider legs granted him unparalleled agility and balance, allowing him to navigate obstacles with ease. His enhanced vision provided clarity in the dimmest of environments, and the webbing, though initially crude, held immense potential, but he wasn't alone in this realization. From the shadows, another contestant observed him, a tall woman with piercing blue eyes and the graceful wings of a hawk. She approached cautiously, her movements silent and precise. "You're Charlie, right?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah, that's me," he replied warily. "And you are?" "Mia," she introduced herself. "I have the DNA of a cheetah. My speed is my greatest asset here." Charlie nodded, recognizing the precarious balance they both faced. "Looks like we're both at a disadvantage, somehow." Mia smirked. "Not necessarily. There are ways to leverage our abilities. We could form alliances, set traps." Charlie considered the idea. Trust was a scarce commodity in this arena, but having someone with Mia's speed could be invaluable. "I could use your speed to scout ahead while I set up webs to slow down any threats." She extended her hand, which he shook firmly. "Agreed. Let's survive this together." As they solidified their tentative alliance, the atmosphere in the arena shifted. The contestants began to move, the countdown ticking down to 0. The arena itself was a sprawling, untamed wilderness, a deceptive facade masking the deadly competition beneath. Charlie and Mia moved through the dense foliage, using their unique abilities to navigate the terrain. Charlie's spider legs allowed him to traverse treetops and cross gaps with ease, while Mia's speed enabled her to scout paths and locate resources swiftly. Their journey was fraught with challenges. They encountered hostile contestants, individuals whose animal modifications made them formidable predators. One such encounter involved a man whose lower body had transformed into that of a rhino. His brute strength was unmatched, and his aggressive nature made him a constant threat. During a skirmish, Charlie and Mia found themselves cornered by the rhino and another contestant known as the Serpent, whose ability to hypnotize with his gaze made him a deadly opponent. The Serpent's eyes glowed eerily as he attempted to control their minds, but Charlie's enhanced vision and spider senses helped him resist the manipulation. Thinking quickly, Charlie spun a web between two trees, ensnaring the Serpent and neutralizing his hypnotic influence. Mia then used her speed to outmaneuver the rhino, leading him into the trap. The rhino charged, his horn impaling the web and causing a tangled mess that slowed him down, giving Charlie and Mia the chance to escape. Breathing heavily, they regrouped behind a thick bush, catching their breaths. "That was too close," Mia admitted, wiping sweat from her brow. Charlie nodded, his mind racing with strategies. "We need to be smarter about our moves. This arena isn't just about brute force, it's about strategy and using our abilities to their fullest." Mia agreed. "We should explore more of the arena, find out its rules and any possible weaknesses. Knowledge is power here." As they ventured deeper into the arena, they discovered various environmental hazards designed to test the contestants' adaptability. There were areas with extreme temperatures, treacherous cliffs, and deceptive illusions that played on their fears and weaknesses. Each obstacle required them to think on their feet and utilize their genetic modifications creatively. One day, while traversing a particularly dense section of the forest, they stumbled upon an abandoned outpost. It was clear that previous contestants had sought shelter here, leaving behind remnants of their brief respite. Among the scattered belongings, they found a map of the arena, marked with key locations and potential hazards. "This could be invaluable," Charlie remarked, examining the map closely. "If we can figure out the layout, we might be able to predict the game's next moves." Mia took the map, her eyes scanning the details. "There's a central hub marked here. It looks like the control center for the arena's systems. If we can get there, we might find a way to disable the game or at least gain some leverage." Determined, they set their sights on the central hub, knowing it would be a perilous journey filled with challenges and potential confrontations. Along the way, they encountered more contestants, each encounter testing their resolve and forcing them to innovate with their abilities. One evening, as the sun set and the forest was cloaked in twilight, Charlie and Mia found themselves surrounded by a group led by Jax, a hulking man with the DNA of a bear. His sheer size and strength made him a formidable adversary, and his presence was both intimidating and menacing. Jax stepped forward, his voice booming. "You two think you can just ally and make it out of here? Think again. This is survival of the fittest, and I'm the fittest around." Charlie exchanged a glance with Mia, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We're not looking for trouble, Jax. We just want to survive." Jax laughed, a deep, throaty sound. "Survival? In this game, only the strong survive. And you two are nothing but prey." As tensions escalated, Charlie knew they had to act swiftly. He began weaving a web between two sturdy trees, creating a barricade that would slow down Jax and his entourage. Mia, with her unparalleled speed, darted around, setting up traps and creating diversions. The confrontation quickly turned chaotic. Jax charged, his massive frame barreling through the web, but Charlie's agility allowed him to evade the brute force. Mia used her speed to disorient the attackers, leading them into Charlie's traps and causing confusion within their ranks. Amid the chaos, Charlie noticed Derek, a contestant with the DNA of a hawk, hovering above, observing the battle with keen interest. Derek's ability to fly gave him a tactical advantage, allowing him to strike from the skies. Recognizing the threat, Charlie signaled to Mia, "Mia, take out Derek first. He can swoop in and disrupt our defenses." Mia nodded, sprinting towards a vantage point. With precise timing, she launched herself into the air, using her speed to outmaneuver Derek's aerial assaults. As Derek descended for a final strike, Mia delivered a swift, calculated blow, knocking him out of the sky and bringing him crashing to the ground. With Derek neutralized, the tide turned in Charlie and Mia's favor. Jax, seeing his allies fall one by one, realized the futility of confronting them directly. Frustrated and defeated, he snarled an apology before retreating into the shadows, leaving Charlie and Mia to catch their breath. As they surveyed the aftermath, Charlie couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and unease. "We did it, but this is just the beginning. There are more challenges ahead, and they're only going to get tougher." Mia placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We've got each other's backs. As long as we stay smart and work together, we can make it through this." Charlie managed a weak smile, drawing strength from her confidence. "Yeah, together. Let's keep moving forward." Their journey continued, each day bringing new trials and opportunities to hone their skills. They encountered the owl, a contestant with night vision and exceptional hearing, making her a formidable scout, and the serpent's ally, a sly individual who could blend into his surroundings like a chameleon. Through each encounter, Charlie grew more adept at using his spider abilities. He developed intricate web traps, learned to climb vertical surfaces effortlessly, and even discovered a way to sense vibrations through his webs, allowing him to detect movement from afar. One night, under the canopy of the dense forest, Charlie and Mia sat by a small campfire, sharing stories of their lives before the arena. Charlie spoke of his unremarkable job and his dreams of something more, while Mia revealed her background as a genetic scientist, forcibly recruited for her expertise. "They didn't just want to watch us fight," Mia confided, her voice tinged with bitterness. "This arena is part of something bigger, a global experiment in genetic manipulation. They're looking for the best traits, the strongest abilities to further their own agendas." Charlie's eyes widened with realization. "So this isn't just a game. It's a test to find the next generation of enhanced humans. People like us are the future they're building." Mia nodded solemnly. "Exactly. And once the game is over, they'll take the survivors for their own purposes. We need to not only survive but find a way to expose them." Determined by this new understanding, Charlie and Mia intensified their efforts. They began to seek out other knowledgeable contestants, sharing information and pooling their resources. Their alliance grew stronger, united by a common goal beyond mere survival. One afternoon, while traversing a rocky outcrop, they stumbled upon an abandoned observatory. The structure was dilapidated, but remnants of advanced technology hinted at its former purpose, monitoring the arena's activities. Inside, they discovered a terminal still functional, its screen flickering to life as they approached. The interface was complex, filled with data streams and control panels. Mia examined it closely, her scientific mind racing to decipher its functions. "This could be our key," she whispered. "If we can access the control center from here, we might be able to manipulate the arena systems, disable traps, send messages outside, or even communicate with others." Charlie felt a surge of hope. "Let's give it a try. If we can take control, we might have a chance to turn the tables." Hours of painstaking work followed as Mia hacked into the system, bypassing security protocols and decoding encrypted data. Meanwhile, Charlie kept watch, using his spider senses to detect any approaching threats. Finally, Mia's efforts bore fruit. The terminal displayed a live feed of the central hub, the nerve center of the Web Hunter arena. They could see the game's designers orchestrating the environment, issuing commands, and monitoring the contestants' every move. "We've done it," Mia breathed, a mix of relief and determination in her voice. "Now, we just need to find a way to disrupt their control." Before they could proceed, an alarm blared throughout the observatory. Red lights flashed, and the terminal screen displayed a warning: "Security breach detected. Initiating lockdown protocols." Charlie and Mia exchanged urgent glances. "They know we're here," Charlie stated grimly. "We have to move now." As they made a desperate escape, the observatory transformed around them. Walls shifted, pathways changed, and the very landscape became a labyrinth designed to trap intruders. Using their combined abilities, they navigated the treacherous maze, evading automated defenses and confronting rogue contestants determined to stop them. At one point, they found themselves on the edge of a precipice, the ground crumbling beneath their feet. Charlie quickly spun a web bridge, anchoring it to a nearby cliffside, allowing them to cross safely. Mia's speed ensured they remained one step ahead of the pursuing threats, her cheetah instincts guiding their every move. As they reached the central hub, the true extent of the arena's control became evident. Massive screens displayed maps, contestant statuses, and real-time data feeds, all managed by an intricate network of AI systems. It was a digital fortress, and they were now within its core. Mia set to work, attempting to override the system from within. "We need to shut down the central AI. It controls everything from the environment to the security measures. Without it, the arena will fall into disarray." Charlie kept a vigilant watch, his spider senses alert to any incoming threats. "I'll handle any interference they send our way. Focus on the shutdown." Minutes felt like hours as Mia battled against the complex code, her fingers flying over the terminal's interface. Sweat beaded on her forehead, her breaths coming in rapid bursts. Finally, with a triumphant click, the central AI began to shut down. "Got it," Mia exclaimed, her voice a mix of exhaustion and triumph. "We did it. The arena's systems are going offline." But their victory was short-lived. As the AI powers down, the arena's creators' shadowy figures hidden from view revealed themselves through the massive screens. Their faces were obscured, but their presence was unmistakable. "Congratulations, contestants," the lead designer declared, his voice cold and calculating. "You've proven your worth. But the game is far from over. This was only a preliminary test. The true selection begins now." Before Charlie and Mia could react, the arena began to transform once more. The ground trembled, and the sky darkened as the environment shifted into a more hostile and unpredictable state. The central hub's shutdown had only delayed the inevitable, it hadn't ended the game. Realizing the gravity of their situation, Charlie turned to Mia. "We need to keep fighting. If they're going to continue this experiment, we have to find a way to stop them for good this time." Mia nodded, her eyes steely with determination. "Agreed. Let's finish what we started and bring an end to the Web Hunter arena. As the first wave of new challenges emerged, Charlie and Mia steeled themselves for the battles ahead. Their bond had grown stronger, forged in the fires of survival and the shared desire to dismantle the corrupt system that had thrust them into this deadly game. With their combined abilities and unwavering resolve, they prepared to face whatever the arena and its creators had in store for them next. The true test of their ingenuity, strength, and partnership was just beginning. The Central Hub's shutdown had only been a temporary setback, a mere delay in the relentless progression of the Web Hunter arena. As the arena's environment morphed into a more hostile and unpredictable state, Charlie and Mia knew that their battle was far from over. The shadowy figures behind the game had revealed their intent. This was just a preliminary test, and the true selection was yet to begin. Charlie tightened his grip on his web shooters, feeling the familiar tingle of the silk-spinning proteins coursing through his limbs. Mia stood beside him, her cheetah-enhanced muscles tense and ready for whatever came next. The atmosphere was thick with tension, the air charged with the anticipation of impending chaos. "We need to stay ahead of them," Mia stated, her eyes scanning the transformed landscape. The ground beneath them had become more treacherous, with jagged rocks protruding from the earth and volatile weather patterns emerging without warning. Lightning crackled in the distance, illuminating the darkened sky in bursts of harsh light. Charlie nodded, his spider senses heightened as he detected subtle vibrations in the ground. "Agreed. We can't let them control the game anymore. We need to find the source of their power and shut it down for good." As they ventured deeper into the arena, the challenges intensified. They navigated through swamps that bubbled with toxic gases, climbed cliffs that seemed to stretch endlessly into the sky, and traversed areas where gravity itself seemed to fluctuate unpredictably. Each obstacle tested their limits, forcing them to adapt and rely on their unique abilities. One evening, as the sun set and the temperature plummeted, Charlie and Mia found themselves in a dense forest illuminated by bioluminescent plants. The eerie glow cast long shadows, making every movement feel both surreal and dangerous. They moved cautiously, aware that any misstep could lead to their downfall. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoed through the trees. Charlie froze, his spider senses alert to the approaching threat. Out of the darkness emerged a new contestant, the chameleon. His ability to blend seamlessly into his surroundings made him nearly invisible, a perfect predator in this deadly game. "The chameleon," Mia whispered, her eyes narrowing as she tried to spot any movement beneath his camouflaged exterior. Charlie took a deep breath, his mind racing with strategies. "We need to stay on high alert. He could strike from anywhere." As they continued their journey, the chameleon made his presence known in subtle ways, shifting shadows, fleeting movements at the edge of their vision. It was a psychological game, designed to wear them down and make them doubt their senses. One night, while resting in a concealed alcove, Charlie and Mia discussed their next move. The weight of their mission pressed heavily on them, the realization that defeating the arena's creators was the only path to true freedom. "Mia, what if we can't stop them?" Charlie voiced his deepest fear. "What if this is just the beginning, and there's nothing we can do to end it?" Mia looked at him, her eyes reflecting a mixture of determination and empathy. "We have to try, Charlie. If we don't, who will? We owe it to ourselves and everyone else trapped here to fight back." Her words reignited the spark of hope within him. They had come too far to turn back now. Together, they devised a plan to infiltrate the Central Hub once more, but this time with the intention of completely dismantling the arena's control systems. The journey to the Central Hub was fraught with danger. They encountered numerous traps and ambushes, each more deadly than the last. The arena seemed to adapt to their strategies, constantly throwing new challenges their way. But Charlie and Mia's bond grew stronger with each trial, their teamwork becoming more synchronized and efficient. During one particularly intense confrontation, they faced the serpent and his ally, the mantis. The serpent's hypnotic gaze had previously been a formidable threat, but Charlie had learned to counter it using his web vibrations. The mantis, with her razor-sharp limbs and lightning-fast reflexes, was another deadly opponent. As the battle raged, Charlie found himself locked in a deadly dance with the mantis, his spider legs allowing him to move with unparalleled agility. Mia, utilizing her speed, distracted the serpent, creating openings for Charlie to strike. Together, they managed to incapacitate their foes, but not without sustaining injuries. Breathing heavily, they regrouped behind a cluster of glowing plants. "We need to keep moving," Mia urged, her voice tinged with exhaustion. "The longer we stay here, the more likely they are to find us." Charlie nodded, wincing as he adjusted his web shooters. "You're right. Let's head for the central hub. We need to finish this once and for all." Their path led them through a labyrinth of shifting corridors and deceptive landscapes. The arena seemed to resist their progress, walls moving and floors rearranging to impede their advance. But Charlie's enhanced vision and Mia's speed allowed them to navigate the ever-changing terrain with relative ease. Finally, they reached the outskirts of the central hub, a towering structure pulsating with energy, its exterior guarded by an array of security measures. The entrance was fortified with heavy barriers and intricate locking mechanisms, but Mia's expertise in speed and agility provided them with the means to bypass the initial defenses. Inside, the hub was a complex network of control rooms, monitoring stations, and data centers. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the scent of ozone from the high-tech equipment. Large screens displayed real-time data feeds, showing the movements and statuses of all contestants within the arena. "We need to find the main control terminal," Charlie said, scanning the room for any sign of their target. Mia nodded, moving swiftly towards a central console. "I'll handle the security systems. You keep an eye out for any threats." As Mia began to hack into the system, bypassing firewalls and security protocols with impressive speed, Charlie used his web-slinging abilities to navigate the room's high vantage points, keeping watch for any incoming threats. The tension in the air was palpable, each moment bringing them closer to either success or failure. Minutes turned into what felt like hours as Mia delved deeper into the hub's systems. Finally, her efforts paid off. The main control terminal was within reach, and the final layers of security had been breached. "Got it," Mia announced, her fingers dancing across the console. "I'm accessing the main control panel now. We need to shut down the entire system." Charlie felt a surge of hope. "Do it. This is our chance to end this." As Mia initiated the shutdown sequence, alarms began to blare throughout the arena. The shadowy figures behind the game appeared on the large screens, their presence now fully revealed. Their faces remained obscured, but their authority was undeniable. "You may have reached the central hub," the lead designer announced, his voice cold and detached. "But you are too late. The game is evolving, and the true selection process is about to begin." Before Charlie and Mia could react, the hub's systems began to override their commands. The shutdown sequence was halted, and the arena's defenses reactivated with renewed vigor. The room trembled as the structure's energy surged, and the screens flickered with new data. "We need to keep going," Mia urged, her determination unwavering. "We can't let them stop us now." Charlie nodded, drawing strength from her resolve. "We finish this here and now. No more games." As they fought their way through the reactivated defenses, Charlie and Mia faced a wave of new challenges. Automated drones descended from the ceiling, targeting them with precision-guided attacks. The arena's terrain shifted once more, creating new obstacles and hazards designed to eliminate them. Despite the overwhelming odds, Charlie and Mia pressed forward, their teamwork and adaptability shining through. Charlie's spider abilities allowed him to create intricate web traps, immobilizing the drones and other threats. Mia's speed enabled her to outmaneuver their opponents, delivering swift and decisive strikes. Finally, they reached the heart of the central hub, the main control terminal itself. The room was dominated by a massive holographic interface, displaying the intricate network of the arena's systems. The shadowy figures watched their every move, their presence a constant reminder of the stakes at hand. Mia began typing furiously, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she attempted to override the system once more. "I'm almost there," she said, her voice strained but resolute. "Just a few more seconds." Charlie kept a vigilant watch, his spider senses on high alert for any incoming threats. The tension was unbearable, each passing moment bringing them closer to either victory or defeat. Suddenly, the lead designer's voice boomed through the room. "Impressive, but futile. You cannot hope to dismantle the system. The game is eternal, and the selection process is irrevocable." Undeterred, Mia continued her work, ignoring the designer's taunts. "We'll see about that," she replied, her focus unbroken. As the final lines of code were entered, the holographic interface began to flicker and destabilize. The arena's systems started to shut down, the energy pulsating through the room waning. The shadowy figures' control over the arena weakened, their influence diminishing with each passing second, but the lead designer wasn't finished yet. With a final, desperate move, he initiated a fail-safe protocol, a last-ditch effort to maintain control over the arena. The room plunged into darkness as emergency power surged through the systems, reigniting the arena's defenses with a vengeance. Charlie and Mia braced themselves for the impending onslaught, knowing that their battle was reaching its climax. The air was thick with the scent of burning circuits and the hum of reactivated machinery. The arena itself seemed to come alive, determined to thwart their attempts at dismantling its control. As the darkness enveloped them, Charlie felt a surge of energy coursing through his spider legs. His web shooters activated automatically, reacting to the sudden increase in danger. He glanced at Mia, her cheetah-enhanced eyes scanning the room for any sign of movement. "We have to keep pushing," Charlie shouted over the noise. "We're so close." Mia nodded, her focus unwavering. "Don't give up now. We can do this." With renewed determination, they launched themselves into the fray. Charlie's webs became a web of defense and offense, immobilizing drones and other threats with precision. Mia's speed allowed her to dodge attacks effortlessly, her movements a blur as she countered each assault with grace and power. The battle was fierce, the arena's defenses seemingly endless. But Charlie and Mia's resilience and teamwork began to wear down the system's resistance. One by one, the shadowy figures' control over the arena weakened, their influence fading as the systems shut down completely. As the last of the defenses fell, the arena's environment began to stabilize, the once chaotic landscape calming as the system powers down. The holographic interface flickered one final time before fading into nothingness, the central hub now a silent witness to their triumph. Breathing heavily, Charlie and Mia stood amidst the wreckage of the central hub, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. The shadowy figures had been defeated, their control over the arena shattered. "We did it," Mia said, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "The arena is shut down." Charlie nodded, his spider legs still tingling from the intense battle. "Yeah, we actually did it." But their victory was tempered by the realization that their journey was far from over. The arena's shutdown was just the beginning, a step towards exposing the global conspiracy that had orchestrated their suffering. They knew that there were other arenas operating around the world, each one a part of the same twisted experiment in genetic manipulation. "We need to find a way out," Charlie said, his mind already racing with plans. "If we want to stop this for good, we have to reach out to the outside world." Mia agreed, her cheetah-enhanced speed and agility making her the perfect candidate for reconnaissance. "I'll scout ahead and see if there's a path to the surface. You stay here and keep an eye on things." As Mia darted out of the central hub, Charlie took a moment to catch his breath. The arena was no longer a battleground, but a controlled environment ready to be dismantled. With Mia's success, they had a real chance to bring the truth to light and end the Web Hunter arena once and for all. Mia returned moments later, her expression triumphant. "There's a maintenance tunnel that leads outside. It's not heavily guarded anymore, but we need to move quickly before any remaining defenses reactivate." Charlie nodded, preparing his webs for their escape. "Let's go. We've got a long way to go, but this is our chance to make a difference." Together, they navigated through the maintenance tunnels, the air thick with the scent of damp stone and the hum of residual machinery. The path was narrow and winding, but their combined abilities allowed them to move swiftly and efficiently. As they approached the exit, the sounds of the outside world grew louder, a stark contrast to the confined chaos of the arena. Finally, they emerged into the open air, the bright sunlight washing over them and filling their lungs with fresh air. The world outside was both beautiful and terrifying, a reminder of what they were fighting to protect. They looked around, taking in the vast expanse of nature that stretched out before them, a stark contrast to the artificial environment of the arena. "We're free," Mia said, her voice filled with awe and relief. "But our work isn't done yet." Charlie nodded, determination shining in his eyes. "No, it's not. We need to expose what's happening here and make sure it never happens to anyone else." As they began their journey back to civilization, Charlie and Mia knew that their fight was far from over. The Web Hunter Arena was just one piece of a larger puzzle, a dark experiment in genetic manipulation that threatened to reshape the world in unimaginable ways. But with their unique abilities and unwavering resolve, they were ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. Their bond, forged in the fires of survival and shared adversity, was unbreakable. Together, they would unravel the threads of the conspiracy, one by one, and ensure that the Web Hunter Arena and its sinister creators would never harm another innocent soul. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with danger and obstacles, but Charlie and Mia were prepared to face it head-on. Their journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of unity in the face of overwhelming odds. As they walked into the horizon, the sun setting behind them, they knew that their story was only just beginning. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the dense forest as Charlie and Mia navigated the winding path back toward civilization. The fresh air felt invigorating after the stifling confines of the arena, but their relief was tempered by the weight of their mission. They had survived the Web Hunter Arena, but the true battle was only beginning. As they trekked through the underbrush, the sounds of nature enveloped them, birds chirping, leaves rustling in the breeze, and the distant rush of a river. It was a stark contrast to the mechanical hum and artificial chaos they had left behind. Yet, the serenity of their surroundings did little to quell the urgency driving them forward. "We need to find a safe place to regroup and plan our next move," Mia said, her voice steady despite the exhaustion etched into her features. "There are too many variables out there. If the arena is part of a larger conspiracy, we might be up against something far more powerful." Charlie nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "Agreed. We need allies, information, anything that can help us expose what's behind this." He glanced around, scanning the forest for signs of civilization. "There's a town not too far from here. We might find some answers there." Their journey was punctuated by moments of tension and camaraderie. They shared stories of their lives before the arena, building a bond forged in shared adversity. Charlie spoke of his monotonous office job and his dreams of something more, while Mia revealed snippets of her past as a genetic scientist, forced into the arena against her will. One evening, as twilight descended and the forest was bathed in the soft glow of fireflies, they stumbled upon an old ranger station. The building was weathered, its wooden exterior cracked and overgrown with vines, but it offered a semblance of shelter. Exhausted, they decided to rest and strategize. Inside, the air was cool and musty, the remnants of past occupants scattered around. Charlie approached a dusty table, pulling out the map they had found in the central hub. "We need to pinpoint where these arenas are being operated from. If we can identify the source, we can take it down." Mia sat beside him, her fingers tracing the lines and markings on the map. "There are multiple arenas around the world, but they all seem to be connected to a central organization. We need to find out who's behind it and why they're doing this." As they delved deeper into their plan, a faint noise outside caught their attention. Charlie's spider senses tingled, alerting him to movement. He motioned for silence, his eyes scanning the window for any signs of intrusion. A figure emerged from the shadows, a man with a rugged appearance, his clothes blending seamlessly with the forest environment. He approached cautiously, hands raised in a gesture of peace. "Who are you?" Charlie demanded, stepping forward with Mia at his side. The man hesitated before speaking. "Name's Ethan. I'm part of a resistance group fighting against the organization behind these arenas. I heard about your escape and wanted to offer my help." Mia's eyes narrowed slightly, assessing the newcomer. "How do we know we can trust you?" Ethan met her gaze steadily. "I understand your skepticism. But our goals align. We want to expose and dismantle the organization controlling these arenas. I have contacts and information that could be invaluable to your mission." Charlie exchanged a glance with Mia, sensing the genuine intent in Ethan's demeanor. "All right, Ethan. We're listening." They spent the next few hours sharing information. Ethan revealed that the organization, known as Genetech, was a clandestine group specializing in genetic engineering and manipulation. Their experiments extended beyond the web hunter arena, encompassing multiple facilities worldwide, each operating as its own deadly game. Genetech is funded by powerful elites who see these arenas as a means to breed the next generation of superhumans, Ethan explained. They believe that by pitting genetically enhanced individuals against each other, they can identify and cultivate the strongest traits for their own purposes. Mia frowned, absorbing the gravity of the situation. "So, it's not just about entertainment or control. It's about creating a new class of beings with enhanced abilities." "Exactly," Ethan confirmed. "And once they identify these traits, they plan to use them for various agendas: military applications, corporate espionage, even personal vendettas among the elite." Charlie clenched his fists, anger bubbling within him. "We need to stop them. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone they've trapped in these arenas." Ethan nodded. "That's why our resistance group has been working to gather evidence and find ways to infiltrate their operations. But we can't do it alone. We need your help." Mia looked thoughtful. "What do you need from us?" Ethan handed them a small device. "This is a communication device that can tap into Genetech's network. With it, we can intercept their communications, gather intel, and coordinate our efforts more effectively." Charlie took the device, examining it closely. "How does it work?" Ethan smiled. "I built it myself. It can hack into their systems remotely, but it requires someone with technical expertise to operate it effectively." Mia stepped forward, her determination shining in her eyes. "I can handle that. With my background in genetics and your knowledge of their systems, we stand a better chance." Ethan's expression softened with hope. "That's exactly why I reached out to you. Together, we can make a difference." Over the next few days, the trio worked tirelessly, formulating a plan to strike at Genetech's operations. They identified a target: a Genetech facility located in a remote area that served as one of the primary hubs for their genetic experiments. This facility was responsible for creating and managing several arenas, including the one Charlie and Mia had escaped from. "We need to gather evidence from that facility and expose their operations to the world," Charlie said, pointing to the location on the map. "If we can bring their actions to light, we can rally more support against them." Mia nodded in agreement. "And with the communication device, we can disrupt their networks and hinder their ability to control the arenas." Ethan outlined the logistics. "We'll need to infiltrate the facility discreetly, avoid detection, and secure any data that can be used as evidence. It's a high-risk mission, but it's our best shot at taking them down." The night before the mission, the group gathered around a makeshift campfire, the flickering flames casting shadows on their determined faces. The weight of their mission hung heavy in the air, but so did their resolve. "We're all in this together," Ethan stated firmly. "No matter what happens, we support each other." Charlie placed a hand on Mia's shoulder, offering silent reassurance. "We've come this far. We can do this." With their plan set, they set out at dawn, making their way through the rugged terrain toward the Genetech facility. The journey was arduous, testing their endurance and willpower. They navigated through dense forests, crossed treacherous rivers, and evaded patrols of Genetech's security forces, highly trained operatives equipped with advanced technology and genetic enhancements. As they approached the facility, the enormity of their task became apparent. The complex was a sprawling compound surrounded by high walls, guarded by surveillance cameras and armed personnel. It was clear that Genetech was prepared for any attempts to breach their operations. "We need to find a way inside without raising alarms," Mia whispered, her eyes scanning the perimeter for potential entry points. Ethan pointed to a section of the wall with less surveillance. "There's a maintenance entrance over there. It should be less guarded, but we'll need to disable the cameras first." Using the communication device, Mia began hacking into the surveillance system, her fingers moving swiftly over the interface. "I'm in. Give me a few minutes to loop the cameras." Charlie and Ethan kept watch, their senses heightened for any signs of movement. After what felt like an eternity, Mia looked up, her expression focused. "Okay, we're clear. Let's move." They approached the maintenance entrance, Charlie using his spider abilities to scale the wall with ease. Mia and Ethan followed closely, her speed allowing them to move swiftly and quietly. Once inside, they navigated the dimly lit corridors, avoiding patrolling guards and accessing restricted areas with Mia's technical prowess. Their objective was clear: infiltrate the central laboratory, secure the genetic data, and gather evidence of Genetech's illicit activities. The closer they got, the more intense their anticipation grew. As they reached the heart of the facility, they encountered a fortified door leading to the main laboratory. Mia set to work on the security panel, bypassing encryption protocols with practiced efficiency. Almost there, she muttered, her concentration unwavering. With a final keystroke, the door swung open, revealing the expansive laboratory filled with advanced genetic research equipment and data servers. Rows of containment units housed various genetically modified specimens, each more terrifying and fascinating than the last. "We need to collect as much data as we can," Ethan instructed, his eyes scanning the room for any signs of interference. Charlie began accessing the servers, using his spider senses to detect any hidden traps or security measures. "I'm downloading the files. We need to get this out before they realize we're here." Mia monitored the communication device, ensuring that their presence remained undetected. "We don't have much time. Once we have the data, we need to get out before the system flags our intrusion." As they worked, an alarm blared through the facility, the red lights flashing ominously. "We've been detected," Ethan announced, his voice tense. "We need to move now." Panic surged through the group as they hurried to gather the data. Charlie quickly secured the files onto a portable drive, while Mia downloaded additional information that detailed Genetech's global operations. Ethan kept watch, fending off the first wave of Genetech's security forces attempting to breach the laboratory. "Go, go, go," Mia urged, grabbing the drive and slipping it into her bag. "I'll cover you." Charlie and Ethan followed her lead, sprinting through the corridors as guards closed in around them. The layout of the facility was a maze, but Charlie's enhanced vision and spider abilities allowed them to navigate the complex with agility and speed. As they reached the exit, they were met with a formidable obstacle: two heavily armed guards blocking their path. Ethan stepped forward, his own genetic enhancements allowing him to move with lethal precision. A brief but intense fight ensued, with Ethan neutralizing the guards swiftly while Charlie and Mia made their escape. Bursting through the maintenance entrance, they raced through the forest, the sounds of Genetech's pursuit growing louder. The tension was palpable as they pushed their bodies to the limit, fueled by the knowledge that they held the key to exposing the organization's atrocities. After what felt like hours, they finally distanced themselves from the facility, the sounds of pursuit fading into the distance. They collapsed onto the forest floor, exhaustion washing over them. "We did it," Charlie panted, the the weight of their achievement sinking in. "We've got the evidence we need." Mia nodded, her breath steadying. "Now, we need to get this to the right people. Journalists, authorities, anyone who can help us bring Genetech down." Ethan smiled, a flicker of hope in his eyes. "I have contacts in the media who can verify and broadcast this information. We'll need to stay low until it's safe, but this is a major step forward." The trio made their way back to the ranger station, where they regrouped and planned their next moves. The data they had collected was a goldmine of information, proof of Genetech's unethical experiments, financial records linking the organization to powerful elites, and documentation of their global network of arenas. With Ethan's connections, they arranged a meeting with a trusted journalist who had a reputation for uncovering major scandals. The plan was to hand over the evidence discreetly, ensuring that it would reach the public without interference from Genetech's reach. The day of the meeting arrived, and the tension was thick as they prepared to present their findings. Charlie felt a surge of determination, knowing that their efforts could bring an end to the nightmare they had endured and prevent others from suffering the same fate. They met the journalist, a seasoned reporter named Laura, in a secluded cafe away from the prying eyes of Genetech's influence. Laura was initially skeptical, but as Charlie and Mia presented the irrefutable evidence, her expression shifted from doubt to outrage. "This is explosive," Laura exclaimed, her eyes wide with realization. "If this gets published, it will expose Genetech's operations to the world. But we need to be careful. They won't let this go without a fight." Ethan nodded. "That's why we need to act quickly. We have to ensure the information reaches as many people as possible before they can suppress it." Laura assured them that she would handle the dissemination of the information, leveraging her network to maximize its impact. "I'll make sure this gets out. But you need to stay safe. Genetech won't hesitate to eliminate anyone who threatens their secrecy." As they parted ways, a sense of hope mixed with apprehension settled over the group. They had taken a significant step toward dismantling Genetech, but the battle was far from over. The organization was vast and deeply entrenched, with resources and influence that posed a formidable challenge. Days turned into weeks as Laura worked tirelessly to publish the evidence. The story quickly gained traction, sparking outrage and demanding accountability from those complicit in Genetech's operations. Public pressure mounted, leading to investigations and arrests of key figures within the organization. Amidst the chaos, Charlie and Mia continued their fight, assisting the resistance group in any way they could. They provided first-hand accounts of their experiences, helping to rally more support and inspire others to stand against Genetech's tyranny. One evening, as they sat around a bonfire with their newfound allies, the reality of their impact began to sink in. "We did it," Charlie said softly, gazing into the flames. "We actually made a difference." Mia smiled, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Yes, but we need to stay vigilant. Genetech's reach is extensive, and there may be remnants of the organization still operating in the shadows." Ethan raised his glass in a toast. "To our resilience and the hope that drives us. Together, we can ensure that no one else falls victim to their experiments." As the flames danced around them, the trio felt a sense of accomplishment tempered by the knowledge that their fight was ongoing. They had unraveled the threads of Genetech's web, but there was still work to be done to ensure lasting change. In the months that followed, Genetech's influence waned as more evidence emerged and public support swelled. Legal actions were taken against those responsible, and efforts were made to regulate genetic experimentation to prevent such abuses from occurring again. Charlie and Mia, hailed as heroes by many, continued to advocate for ethical scientific practices and the protection of individuals' rights. Their experiences in the web hunter arena had transformed them, instilling a deep sense of purpose and a commitment to safeguarding others from similar fates. One sunny afternoon, as they walked through a park celebrating the dismantling of Genetech, Charlie looked over at Mia with a contented smile. "It's hard to believe how far we've come." Mia nodded, her gaze steady. "We've been through hell, but we've come out stronger on the other side. And now, we can help ensure that nothing like this ever happens again." Their journey had been one of survival, discovery, and ultimately, triumph over a corrupt and powerful enemy. The Web Hunter Arena was no longer a place of fear and suffering but a symbol of resilience and the human spirit's capacity to overcome even the most insurmountable challenges. As they continued their walk, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the support of their community, Charlie felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. He had transformed from an ordinary office worker into a key figure in a movement that had changed the world. Mia reached out, taking his hand in hers. "What's next for us?" Charlie looked ahead, the horizon stretching out before them. "Whatever comes our way. We've proven that we can make a difference, and together, we can face anything." With that, they walked forward, their steps in sync and their hearts united by a shared purpose. The legacy of the Web Hunter Arena would endure not as a tale of despair, but as a testament to courage, unity, and the unwavering quest for justice.